let's just sew whatever. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to add the outer V-shaped pocket onto the Alaine handbag. This is a really fun pocket, so I hope you enjoy the video. So now we are going to add our outer V-shaped pocket. We're going to add it with the accent piece. The accent piece is optional. I know it makes it a little bit thicker, a little bit trickier, but it does add a really cool effect to your bag. So the very first thing we're doing is matching up the shapes and laying it on top. So there's that V cutout and you're just going to lay that right over top. You can use basting spray if you need to, or you can use these clips like I did. You could use a little bit of double-sided tape, whatever works for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start along the bottom. I'm going to use that same stitch length of 4, and I'm just going to follow the bottom edge. This is where we want to be the most careful and precise. Well, right now. The top can just be basted, not a big deal. I'm still, like I said, using that stitch length of 4, and then you can kind of use your reverse and hand crank to get it exactly where you need to for all the pivoting that happens. If you wanted to, this is not in the pattern, I literally just thought of it, but you could even add piping underneath to this piece, or even at the top of the pocket or something. Just an idea for anybody who likes to go above and beyond. So now I'm going to switch my stitch length to a 5 just to quickly run through and baste this piece on. You still want to follow the shape as well as you can, but you don't need to be super-duper careful. Just 1/8 of an inch from the outer edge. Baste it all together. Now for this pocket, I did add Decoville Light and woven fuse. You can see here I kind of used it a little sparingly. I just kind of used up a scrap. And that is it for adding that accent piece. Achoo! Ooh, had to sneeze. Okay, so we've basted it all. We're going to use pattern piece 10 right here to mark our snap placement along the back of the lining fabric. You can mark it out on the front, it's up to you, but either way. And if you don't have that pattern piece in front of you, it does say it's 1.75 inches from the center. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little mark. And I will grab my washer for my snap. Well, I'll need both. I added a little scrap of Decoville on the back of this waterproof canvas. Just used a really careful heat setting, and it only took a few seconds, which is why I love waterproof canvas and Decoville. Okay, so I've marked my holes. I'm going to grab the male magnetic snap to the lining. So this is the right side of my lining. We're just inserting that, and then we're gonna secure this washer. Okay. So we're gonna lay the lining and exteriors of piece 10 right sides together to clip it along the sides and the top. And then we're gonna flip it over and sew from the exterior side because we can just kind of follow the stitching. And if you need to, you can use a ruler to kind of mark out your seam allowance where you need to sew, but I'm just gonna eyeball it, we'll be fine. We will be fine. Okay, and I'm gonna put my stitch length down to 4 again. Again, just kind of follow that shape. So really careful and pivot at those corners. now I'm going to trim the seam allowance down. And when I'm doing that, I'm literally just cutting in between the basting stitch and my new stitch. And this is the same method used for my new wristlet pattern, the Victoria wristlet, which I do have a video for. And then I'm just gonna make one little tiny snip at that point so that it sits nicely. You don't wanna cut through the thread or anything like that, you just wanna snip it very gently. And now I'm going to turn it right sides out. And you kind of wanna poke at those corners with your finger and just kind of press it gently. And then roll that seam down in your fingers. Poke that corner out a little more if you need to. If you're using a super thick leather, you might want to try and skive it if you can. If not, another thing you could do to kind of make this a little bit easier is to eliminate any interfacing along the top of that accent piece. So just a suggestion. Okay, so now we have that together. If you need to, you can press it really quickly from the lining side, just give it a little spurt with steam. If you're using leather, do not use steam. That would be very bad. Okay, so then I'm going to use that same stitch length of 4. You could move it up if you needed to, but I want to keep it pretty consistent. And just follow 1/8 of an inch from the top edge. Nice and slow. Again, pivoting at those corners. And now we're gonna baste the pocket along the side. So you can move your stitch length up to about a 5. And just kind of lay them all together. So now that part of the pocket is done, but we need to add our snap placement on the exterior. So we're gonna grab piece 1, and you can either use the measurement that I give, or you can just kind of mark out the center. Grab our washer, mark that out. That's right. I'm gonna add a little scrap of Decaville to the back of this, so I'm gonna go ahead and quickly fuse it, just really quick. All right. I have to reopen that hole, but that's okay. I'd much rather it be interfaced. Especially since if you're using a regular magnetic snap, the female portion is just a little bit bigger because that is the part with the actual magnet. You can also use thin snaps if you want. Those are the ultra slim, those are pretty nice. So we've got that placed. Now we're just gonna let our pocket fall into place, let it snap together, and we'll clip along the sides. And I'm going to baste it all together. So that is our magnetic V-shaped front pocket. Pretty cute, right? Oh, I'm so excited. To see more videos on making the Alaine handbag, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.